So we were discussing solvency ratios, and till now we have discussed first solvency ratio, which was debt to equity ratio that we have discussed. Now the second one solvency ratio is total assets to debt ratio. Now in debt equity ratio, you were comparing the debt of the company with the shareholder fund of the company. Means how much fund has been invested by the owners and how much fund has been invested from the borrowed capital in the business. Now, so now for what reason we are calculating this ratio? It indicates the extent to which debt is being covered by the assets. Means now actually creditors are calculating this ratio to find their safety, how much safe they are. Because more and more assets the company will be having, the more and more their debt will be safer. Like suppose I have borrowed rupees 1000 from anyone, and if suppose I invest that 1000 somewhere in some fixed asset, that way on one day I will be able to pay the debt back because I will be earning something with the help of that asset. My earnings will be there. But if I spend that amount of debt in paying salaries or in some other expenses, then I will not be able to pay that debt back. So debt will become less safer. So same creditors are checking here that how much assets are there in comparison to our debt. The more and more amount of debt asset will be there, obviously the debt will be much safer because if company even get into losses, the assets of the company can be sold and their debt can be paid back. It aims to measure the safety margin available to the lenders of long-term debt. A high ratio means higher safety margin for lenders. So now the point is that how you will be calculating, you need the two factors. You need total assets and you need debt for calculation of this ratio. So for total assets, you know that on the asset side, there are only two classification of assets. One is non-current assets and second one is current assets. So current assets plus non-current assets will be your total assets. So for total assets, pick the total of assets side. And for debt, as you have calculated in this ratio debt, the formula was long-term borrowings plus long-term provisions. Same will be the amount here. So now coming to question number 15. Now see this formula. Calculate total assets to debt ratio from the following information. First information is given, non-current assets are 8 lakh, current assets are 3 lakh, and non-current liabilities are 5 lakh, current liabilities are 3 lakh. So if I want to calculate the total assets to debt ratio, first I have to write the formula. Total assets to debt ratio is equal to total assets upon debt. So now first I will be knowing by writing this formula that I have to calculate these two amounts in this question. Only then I will be able to calculate the total assets to debt ratio. So total assets is equal to non-current assets. Always write the formula plus current assets. So it will be is equal to non-current assets are given 8 lakh plus current assets are given 3 lakh. So it will become 11 lakh. Now coming to debt. Next amount I have to calculate is debt. So debt is actually non-current liabilities. Here no other information is given. So non-current liabilities are your debt. non-current liabilities. So that's why your debt will be 5 lakh. Now I can calculate the total assets to debt ratio. So here my total assets will be 11 lakh and my debt is 5 lakh. So 11 lakh divided by 5 lakh is 5 to the 10, 50, yes, 2.2. So it will come 2.2 ratio 1. And these ratios are also expressed in pure ratio terms. So means my total assets are 2.2 times of total debt. So that's why lenders are having good amount of safety. Even if the assets realize somehow 50%, the company will be able to pay the amount of debt easily. Now coming to the next question. Next question is saying that shareholder funds rupees 12 lakh, total debts rupees 8 lakh, current liabilities rupees 2 lakh, calculate total assets to debt ratio. Now in this question you will need the help of this balance sheet. So first I will put this balance sheet so that you will be able to understand what amount are given. Now in this question shareholder fund is given 12 lakh. Then total debt is given 8 lakh. So now total debt is non-current liability plus current liability. Non-current liabilities plus current liabilities. So this amount has been given combined. So I am writing it here. It is given 8 lakh. Total debt is given 8 lakh. So your total liability will become 20 lakh. And because your total liabilities are 20 lakh, that's why your total assets will also be 20 lakh. Because I need the information regarding total assets also in this formula, but question has not given us any information regarding total assets. So that is the only way to reach to the total of current assets. Now with the help of this formula, I can calculate the value of non-current liabilities, means debt. So total debt is given 8 lakh. Then non-current liabilities, I have to calculate non-current liabilities plus current liabilities amount is also given in the question, that is 2 lakh. Current liabilities are 2 lakh. So now I can calculate non-current liabilities. It will be non-current liabilities is equal to 8 lakh minus 2 lakh. It will become 6 lakh. Now I got the amount of debt. Next, I have to calculate the amount of total assets, that I will write here in formula also. Total assets is equal to, I can make the formula with the help of this balance sheet. Formula is shareholder shareholder fund plus total debt, or we can write non-current liabilities plus current liability. Shareholder fund plus non-current liability plus current liability is equal to total assets. That also we can write. So now if I want to calculate this value, it will be shareholder fund is given 12 lakh plus then total debt is given 8 lakh is equal to 20 lakh. Now I have both the amounts. I have debt amount also 6 lakh and I have total assets amount also 20 lakh. Now I can put the values here. So it will become 20 lakh total assets and debt will become here 6 lakh. Now just divide it, and when you will be dividing it, then you can see 5 zeros are common in both of the numbers, so 5 zeros will be eliminated. You can first simplify it. It will be 20 upon 6, and if I divide it further, it will become 10 divided by 3. Now I can solve it easily. So it will be 3 3s are 9. And then remainder will be 1, so it will become 3.33 ratio 1. So this way you can simplify your calculations. So this question has also been completed. I hope you got the way how to reach to see. First you have to focus on the formula only. If you will find the way, then it will not trouble you. But if you will not remember the formula, then it will be troubling you. Now in this question, what is happening? You have been given a complete balance sheet. And notes to accounts are also given for non-current investments. Now you have been asked from the following balance sheet of ABC Limited, calculate total assets to debt ratio. So when I will be calculating the total assets to debt ratio, first I will be writing the formula for that. Only after writing the formula, you will get the way in your exams or when you are attempting any question that what to do in this question, how to reach to the answer. So here first I will mention the formula. Then afterwards, I will try to find out the value of total assets. Now, if I want to calculate the amount of total assets, the formula is non-current assets plus current assets. So I will mention it here. Total assets is equal to non-current assets plus current assets. Now, because there are several non-current assets and current assets are given, I can write it in further dividing, like fixed assets are given, non-current investments are given, then these three values are given. So I have to write these all. So I will write here fixed assets plus non-current investments plus then current investments are given, inventories are given, current investments plus inventories plus cash and cash equivalents, cash and cash equivalents. This is given. Then it will be is equal to, now I can put the values. So fixed assets are given 15 lakh, 15 lakh. Then non-current investments are given 7 lakh. Then current investments are given 6 lakh. Inventories are given 5 lakh and cash equivalent 2 lakh. So 5 lakh plus 2 lakh. So now I can total it. It will be is equal to 15, 7, 22, 28, 33, 35, 35 lakh. And now you can check it also. Total of asset side is also given 35 lakh. Now coming to the value of debt. Second value which I have to calculate is debt. I will go to the heading non-current liabilities. See, I should know in the balance sheet or profit and loss statement where I have to look for the value. And when I will be knowing that where I will be getting this value, how I can search this value in financial statements, only and only when I have learned these statements, in which heading I am showing what information is written where. When I will be practicing these things properly, only then I will be knowing that I have to directly reach to the non-current liability section. Long-term borrowings are given, long-term provisions are given. I will add them both. So debt is equal to long-term borrowings plus long-term provisions. Long-term provisions is equal to, now long-term borrowings are given 8 lakh and long-term provisions are given 2 lakh. So 8 lakh plus 2 lakh. So the total amount of debt will be 10 lakh. So now I got the both amounts. I got total assets amount also. I get debt amount also. Total assets are 35 lakh and debt amount is 10 lakh. I can calculate easily the total assets to debt ratio. It will become 35 lakh here and it will come here 10 lakh. So 35 lakh divided by 10 lakh, it will become, in short, if you can write it, it will become 35 upon 10. 35 upon 10. And then your answer will be, due to this, your answer will be 3.5 ratio 1. 3.5 ratio 1. So you don't need calculators for even such long calculations. If you are clear about the logics, how to simplify the calculations, if you are practicing them daily, then you will not face any trouble regarding speed or completion of paper in time. But if we have not practiced these things, we are not in a habit of writing the formula in presenting our answer, then these all things will consume our time while attempting the question paper in board examination. And that's why sometimes we say that our paper was lengthy, but paper is never lengthy. Actually, we have not practiced to that level. We have not written each and everything while we were practicing. We are just doing practice in a rough manner. But in board exams, we will not be presenting your answers in a rough manner. So that's why it needs a lot of practice on daily basis. Now, coming to the next ratio is proprietary ratio. Now, what is the meaning of proprietary ratio? First formula is shareholder fund upon total assets. So if you see that we have calculated both of the values in the previous two ratios, shareholder fund we have used in the debt equity ratio. This is equity actually. And total assets we have calculated just in the previous ratio, total assets to debt ratio. So these both amounts will be calculated in the same manner as we were calculating earlier. So there is no confusion regarding the calculation of shareholder fund and total assets. So for shareholder fund, same as equity in debt equity ratio, and for total assets, same as done in the previous ratio. So if you have calculated these ratios, these two ratios in any manner, then both amounts are already calculated. You don't need to calculate them fresh. It indicates the extent to which total assets have been funded by the owners or shareholders. Means how much part of the total assets has been occupied or acquired from the shareholder fund, from the owner's fund, means not from the borrowed funds. That we are calculating here. That's why it is termed as proprietary ratio. How much part of the assets have been funded by the owner's fund, that we are calculating. So now the formula is shareholder fund upon total assets. You can see equity share capital, preference share capital, general reserve, surplus in statement of profit and loss. These all are part of shareholder fund. I can write the formula here. If you remember the balance sheet, these all are the components of shareholder fund. Shareholder fund is equal to equity share capital plus preference share capital plus general reserve. These are part of reserves and surplus, and surplus is also part of reserves and surplus in statement of profit and loss. Profit and loss. Now in the same sequence, you can put the values is equal to 2 lakh plus 50,000 plus 70,000, and if somehow you are getting loss, you will subtract that loss. It should be clear to you. 80,000. So total amount will be 4 lakh. Total amount will be 4 lakh. Same way I can calculate the value of total assets also. Total assets is equal to, now here you can see value of non-current assets is not given. So I will use the liability side for the calculation of total assets. Shareholder fund plus non-current liabilities plus current liabilities. So now I can calculate it. Shareholder fund I have calculated just now 4 lakh. Then non-current liabilities are given in the question 8 lakh. And current liabilities are also given in the question 3 lakh. So it will be 15 lakh. So total assets will be 15 lakh. Now if I want to calculate this ratio, I will simply put 4 lakh four lakh upon 15 lakh. 4 lakh upon 15 lakh. This way. Now if I want to simplify it, I can write it 4 upon 15. And now if I will divide 4 by 15, then better is that, now you can cut it short also, is equal to 2 upon, but it will not be. Okay, then we have to divide it only. So if I will divide 4 by 15, it will come in decimals. So I will first put the point, and then it will become 40. So it will be 15 to the 30. So remainder will be 10. Then I will put 0 again here. So it will become 100. It will be 0.26 ratio 1. Either you can write this ratio like this, or sometimes we just multiply this also by 100. This number we generally multiply by 100. Sometimes it is also expressed in percentage terms. Then it will be actually coming 26%. 26 point something it will be coming in round figures, 10, then 26.6. You can write it like this. So I hope it's clear. So either you can, means you should write its answer in both terms. My suggestion will be this. If you will not multiply it by 100, you will get 0.26 ratio 1. And if you multiply it by 100, you will get this answer. Rest we will do in the next class.